the most common types of conflict that I am asked to help resolve is when two people, usually coworkers, are at odds with one another because they don't believe that each other does what they're supposed to. Very often, one person believes that they're a hard worker and they're doing well, but their coworker is constantly complaining about them. Now, if you are a manager, you probably have experienced the frustration that happens when you have an employee who might be a great employee, but they spend a lot of time sending you emails or coming and knocking on your door, complaining about other people not doing enough. Here are some very simple steps you can take to decide, is this a matter worthy of your attention? And if so, what should you do? You could call me and hire me. I'd be happy to help you. But if you are wanting to resolve it yourself, which I think is a great thing to do, remember the formula: observation, impact, request. Now, the first step, when a person comes to you and complains, ask them for their observation. This means what is obvious, what is reportable, such as actions and words. If someone came to you and complained that Annie wasn't doing her job, the first thing that I would suggest you ask is, okay, tell me exactly, specifically, what is Annie doing or what is Annie saying that you think is a problem? Now, step 2, impact. The next step is ask the person, how does Annie's action or word impact the team or the customer or you personally? Now, if somebody's frustrated with their coworker, they will usually start by giving you all kinds of stories that are generalizations or clearly assumptions like, well, Annie doesn't care or Annie's lazy. That's not observable and it's not useful to you. So you really want to get specific. How specifically is this organization being impacted, or the team or you? How are you being impacted by Annie's behavior? An example of a valid complaint would be, Annie comes to work 10 minutes late very frequently, and I then cannot leave on time and I'm late picking up my child at daycare. That's a valid impact. It may not impact the business directly, but if I am stressed, I'm not going to give great customer service while I'm waiting for my coworker Annie to show up. So observation, actions and words, impact, how do they affect the work being done, the organization or the customer, and finally request. If someone comes to you, they're complaining, you ask them, what would you like instead? If you don't like what's happening, what would you like instead? And they need to be specific in terms of actions and words. In this case of lateness, it's very simple. I want Annie to come to work on time. Now, backing up a bit, if you ask the question, how was the work impacted or how was the customer impacted, and the person says, well, they're not, I just don't like Annie, that's a clue for you to stop the conversation and realize that the responsibility for this situation lies in the hands of the person complaining. Annie's not really the problem. That person might have a belief that they have to do everything. And so they're going to find ways to complain and to say, I have to do everything, everything comes back to me, not realizing that that's simply a mirror of a belief that they carry already. So the formula for quickly resolving conflict is observation, impact, and request, or requirement. If someone is violating a policy, you need to probably set a requirement that is a stronger boundary for them.